Welcome to Mystic Musings with Tobie Hewitt. I'm Tobie Hewitt, and I'm your guide through time and space and all points in between. Mystic Musings will give you insight into who you are, why you are here, how to live an authentic life, and where you fit into the universe around you. Join me on this path of mystical exploration. Welcome to episode 38 of Mystic Musings with Tobie Hewitt. This week, we will examine the idea of the Serenity Prayer as we continue our mystic journey. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. This prayer, written by Reinhold Niebuhr, is one I have kept at the forefront of my thoughts recently, as life events have offered challenges, learning, and opportunities for growth. One would think that someone who can see and hear spirit and lives a relatively mindful life would have an inside track to a peaceful life. Instead, it is often made harder for those of us with heightened awareness because, on the one hand, we are acutely aware of the conditions of others, and, on the other hand, facing those same challenges offers us the knowledge of how to deal with and surmount them. It helps us to be not only conduits for spirit, but also serve as healers for individuals and for the physical plane. Let's look at the three parts of this prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Some things are beyond our control: world events, the weather, the whims and demands of others, and myriad other energies that can impinge on and affect our own. I am often guilty of having knee-jerk reactions to those things I have no or little control over, and I struggle with the impulse to react rather than act. When things do not go my way, I can even turn petulant and sad. These would not be indicative of maintaining my serenity. To maintain serenity in the face of these challenges requires mindfulness and empathy. When someone is not meeting our expectations, we can do several things. We can release the expectation that someone needs to conform their behavior to one that we think they need to display. Oftentimes, other people are having experiences that are challenging their own serenity, and their task is not to answer our needs, but rather to focus on their own. Practicing empathy, the ability to sense the feelings of others, can help us to walk a moment in their shoes, and by doing so, better understand their situation, which most of the time has nothing to do with us. When we accept the things we cannot change and continue to live our lives in the best manner possible, we can gain a sense of serenity, knowing that staying centered in peace helps not only ourselves, but also those around us. God, grant me the courage to change the things I can. We have recently been witness to the amazing courage displayed by the survivors of the Parkland shootings. These young people endured trauma beyond which most of us will ever face, and they continue to live with the aftereffects of the event. Instead of crumbling from the deaths of their classmates and teachers, they have found within themselves tremendous courage to say, enough is enough, and are working hard to educate others and change the laws that are allowing massacres like the one they witnessed to continue on a regular basis and stop the proliferation of weapons of war in our society. We can learn from their courage and from the way they have comported themselves. We can join them in this cause, and we can start living lives of courage in the face of challenges of iniquity and unethical behaviors. We can know that whatever the circumstances are that seem to have us stuck in less than optimal situations or challenge our comfort or even safety, we can face these circumstances with a courage that can allow us to stand up to the forces that are working against our well-being and make the necessary changes to ensure a better tomorrow. God, grant me the wisdom to know the difference. I would say not only to know the difference, but to allow ourselves to courageously remain serene and mindful. Sometimes circumstances are beyond our control, and we need to recognize that we can neither serenely accept it nor courageously change the situation. Sometimes this requires that we walk away, knowing that there is nothing more we can do. Part of our path work, which we discussed last week, is to recognize when there is an insurmountable block before us, something we can neither accept nor change, and that it is we who need to change the path we are on. When we encounter such blockages in our lives, we need to know it is time to change ourselves rather than the external circumstance over which we can have no control. The way made easy is often the way we are to follow. Our wisdom is found in practicing mindfulness, especially in those moments when we are most challenged. In mindfulness is found serenity and courage, because through mindfulness we are able to retain our spiritual core and not allow ego or emotions to take control of our actions and reactions in challenging situations. Being aware of the essential being of everything around us helps us to allow our essential self to act and react from a stance of compassion, empathy, healing, and love. For this week's exercise, please use the Serenity Prayer as a focus for meditation and contemplate the situations in your life that have required you to be courageous and accepting. Next week, please join me for episode 39, when we will further examine the idea of mindfulness as a daily practice as we continue our mystic journey. Thanks for listening to this episode of Mystic Musings. Please join me every week to continue our exploration of all things mystical that can help you have a more practical and magical life. Please visit my website, TobieHewitt.com, for more information and to read my blog postings. And join me also at pathwaystomindfulness.org to learn how you can schedule a presentation. I am available for mindfulness training, demonstrations of psychic abilities, and individual readings. I also have a number of books on mystical topics on Amazon.com. I look forward to hearing from you and answering your questions. Please contact me through TobieHewitt.com.